Hello, everybody, and welcome to another installment of Behind the Jersey. I'm here again with a great DSU athlete, and we talk about it all the time, how nice it is to be able to meet people and have you be able to see them in person. Whether they're on the mat or whether they're out on the track or whether they're on the field or whether they're in the gymnasium, this is an opportunity for you to get to know them in person, and this has been a great joy of mine, I would say. So Geraldyne Fernandez is a wrestler and a volleyball player. Now, we were just kind of talking off camera a little bit about which one was her favorite and which one she likes to do. We'll get to that in a moment, but go ahead and tell me a little bit about yourself, where you're from and what brought you here.
Yeah, so I am originally from Venezuela, South America.
Cool.
I moved here when I was about 12, and I stayed in Utah for my whole high school years, and then I moved down to Dickinson to go to college.
Okay. Is there something that brought you here? What was it about the community that brought you here?
When I was going through my recruiting process my senior year, I was just searching through schools, going on visits, and once I came to Dickinson, I really liked how the small place, I'm kind of used to like the bigger cities, so like how small
Sure.
the classrooms were, how nice everybody was on my visit, how like tight the community was, and I was like, I think this is a good place to like start, especially because I'm like 12 hours away from home. I want to be somewhere where I feel like I could be welcome.
Okay. Have your folks been able to come up here to watch you compete?
Not yet.
No?
Hopefully next year or my senior year, they'll definitely be coming by to see some of my
Okay.
last games, but so far it's just been me up here.
Are they still in Utah?
They are.
Okay. What city in Utah?
Salt Lake City.
And what are their names?
So my dad's name's Geraldo Fernandez,
Okay.
hence the Geraldine. And then my stepmom's name's Marina Charcas. She's actually from Puerto Rico too.
Oh, very nice, very nice. With that kind of upbringing in Utah is very similar, like you said, to the climate, the environment, and the personality of this place. Was there a variety of sports you got to play whenever you were in high school?
When I was in high school, I actually did it 1 year of lacrosse. I wanted to try
Oh.
something different. So my junior year, I joined and I did it. But then my senior year, I had to kind of hone down into the two sports that I knew I wanted to continue with. And so I said, okay, I'm only going to do wrestling and volleyball. And I did club volleyball. And then that took all my time away. But it was a nice experience to do it my junior year.
That's awesome.
Besides all the other, high school kid sports that you do when you're young.
I was just talking to Carl earlier on the earlier interview, and my niece went to school for she was a heptathlete at Wichita State, and she was always a superstar athlete, just like my sister. My sister eventually ran for Central Florida. Like I was telling you about her going to play volleyball and getting a scholarship to the community college. So they're very, very gifted athletes, way better than I ever was or ever would be. But that was what my niece Erica did. She didn't want to run track. She didn't want to play softball. She said, I'm going to play girls lacrosse. And my sister, it kind of came out of left field. My sister Heather was like, lacrosse, where did you come up with this one? Where did you come up with lacrosse?
So my very close friend, who was a year older than me, I met her during my sophomore year of volleyball, and she played lacrosse too, so she did volleyball and lacrosse. And my other couple friends also did lacrosse, and I was like, the team's very small. It could be an opportunity for me to hang out with my friends a little more, to try something new, to stay in shape too, because it's a lot of running. And I was like, you know what, I don't like free time. I like staying busy, and I was like, I'll do it. And I tried out, and I did it, and it was a very nice experience. We got to go through other high schools, and we won conference champ. We were a conference champion that year, and it was really nice to just get to be part of a team like that. Even though I was a lot newer to the sport and not as experienced, it was a really nice, just tight group, and we all really enjoy spending time with each other.
Did it shove you out of the box, or you got kind of out of the box thinking, where you're doing this sport that's, number one, not very common to hear people play it in the United States of America, but number two, was it new to you and that was kind of fascinating?
It was very new. It really taught me like a lot of stuff, and it was really weird using not just your body to play, but using the stick and having that be an extension of your body. And it definitely taught me some stuff that kind of correlated to like volleyball and wrestling, and it was really nice to just kind of see things from a different perspective and be able to apply that later on.
Was there a level of that physicality that you think translates well, where it made you more maybe adept and the ability to move around with a little bit more freedom, working extra muscle groups, that kind of thing?
I would say so. I think it definitely helped more into eye to body coordination. Like you're trying to catch a ball that's flying how many feet in the air and it's like this big. You're trying to catch in the little net, and it's like it really helps with like that eye coordination, balance, running while you're trying to keep the ball on your stick and trying to run away from all the defenders, trying to score in a goal when there's a goalie.
Yeah.
Like definitely all those little stuff help. Like just.
You got to scoot in that game, don't you?
Yeah.
There's no time for resting in lacrosse. It's one of those funny
my
things.
cardio was definitely at its best back then, I could say.
I'm sure it was. Well, now that you're actually able to focus on volleyball and wrestling here at the school, are you Stormy seems to me like one of those coaches where you would just kind of roll across broken glass to play for her. She seems like she's really involved with it. What has she meant to you?
Stormy, she's new to this program, and I've had a new volleyball coach every single year of my volleyball career, back in high school too. But I think the way she came in with such passion to support us, from where we were from last season, and she just came in and she was like, I have these expectations for you because I know you can meet them. And she just had so much love and dedication for everything that we did throughout the season and still does postseason. And I'm so excited to see that going on to the next couple years. But she just means so much. I feel like she's really like stepped up to that like head coach that we really needed. And
Right.
I feel like she was able to help us turn that page and become a better program. And I think it's just going to get better and better from here on out.
And I'm going to say this because it is what it is. Volleyball tends to trend toward taller athletes, but you seem to have been able to excel despite your stature. Is there something that you do to be involved and stay in the center of activity at your size that separates you from the other players who are around you?
Well, yeah. For me personally, I focus on my training and all that I do to like plyometrics and focusing on like my jump and my agility and how quick I can take off. Like for me in my position being like a libero DS, it's all about speed, like my sole job is to not let the ball drop. And I will do anything in my power to train to make that happen. So I will do anything for me, like mostly leg work, but also, coordination and balance and core and stuff like that. But it's definitely, for me, it's not like, I don't care how tall I am. I care how high I can jump and how fast I can be, how fast I can take off to get the ball. And I think that's kind of what gave me that little step up to be able to like play at the college level, even though I'm shorter than most of the girls that play. But our whole team it's like kind of on the shorter side, and we really all focus on that kind of stuff, that how we can make up for that disadvantage that we carry.
Yeah, I've always tried to correlate things, at least in my mind, for sports. We used to play volleyball on the beach and stuff like that in Florida, and so we were always on the volleyball court two nights a week. We all hung out at this cool little court that was made out of basically baseball clay, and so I really enjoyed the sport. If I were to be able to play volleyball at that level, I would want to play libero. That seems to me like the coolest position on the court. Is it?
I think it is. I actually played a couple positions back in high school. I did outside hitter, right side hitter, setter, and I still kind of do it when we practice and stuff like that. But like libero DS had my heart. Like once I was 2 years in and I knew what I wanted to do, I was like, I like being the backbone of the defense. Like if anybody like looks back and I'm like, they know that I can get that ball and that we can keep the play going. And it's something that's been said in every team that I've been, defense wins games, because you can try and score, but if you cannot put the ball down, then you can't score a point. And that's exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to stop the other team from scoring, and I feel like defense is just the best part of the game, me personally.
Well, if you look across pretty much all sports, whether it's soccer, whether it's football or baseball, the solid positions are right up the middle. Like you said, the spine was a good way of describing that, where the backbone of the team. And it seems to me like that would be the kind of thing that I would want to be involved with, is being in the center of the activity.
Yeah.
You're right in the eye of the hurricane, so to speak, right?
Yes. It feels like I'm always like in action, whether it's a free ball, a dig, or anything like that. Like I feel like I always at least get to touch the ball every rally. And I like that. I like being loud. I like being able to set up my setters and my hitters up to success by giving them a perfect pass. I like being able to be behind them so I can talk to them about what's going on the other side of the court. It's just, it gives me such a much wider perspective, just being back there behind them and be able to like support them from there, from where I'm standing.
Well, you mentioned a couple minutes ago, that you like to stay busy. What is it you like to stay busy doing, off of the court or off of the mat, as it were?
I mean, everything like goes from taking notes, studying, making flashcards, working out, doing cardio. I'm an RA, so sometimes I do stuff for like the residence halls and stuff like that. I have my jobs outside of school, so I also prepare for work and stuff like that. But I do like staying active, I like being able to say that I not just contributing to like the community or those around me, but also just contributing to myself as a person. So like being able to say like, oh, I did something today that made me better than yesterday, and just doing those little stuff kind of adds to that little by little.
Well, now that you're kind of, getting up there in stature and upperclassmen, are you also finding that you're able to be sort of a mentor to your younger teammates on either the volleyball court or the wrestling mat?
Yeah, I would like to think so. I more see it as a way of like, I do this stuff so that I can lead by example and not by words. So like, I don't want to be the type of person that's like, oh, like, let's do this. I want to be able to do it. They see me do it, and I'm like, I want to do it because she's doing it. And so I want them to be able to believe in themselves, because if I can do it, they can too. And so, I like being able to like be the example and be the standard of like, this is greatness. Like, this is going out every day and waking up early and doing the right stuff and eating the good stuff, and be able to focus on every single part of your day, academics, work, social life, personal life, sports and stuff like that. And then going back to bed early and then doing the same thing again and again every single day. And I like being able to think that, every time I come into practice, I come with a good attitude, and I come out 110%. Like, I don't care if it's a Friday practice in the evening or like a Monday morning, like conditioning. Like, I come in with the highest positive attitude. I'm like, we're going to get this work done because we're going to get better. Because all these little steps right here we're going to build up to this level of success that Stormy's also has expecting from us next year. And I think we have so much potential for such greatness, and I want to be able to mentor the younger girls.
The improvement that I've seen in your team over the past two seasons has been kind of remarkable. People can look at the stats or the record and things like that, and they don't see what I see. I see a level of improvement that is significantly different from a year ago. And you mentioned that you've had multiple coaches over the course of your career playing the sport. But she seems like she's going to stick, That's kind of what I'm saying, is that she's going to be here for a little bit.
I think this might be the first time that I have the same coach for more than 1 year in a row, and I'm really excited for that. We're really excited to be able to build that relationship, because it goes more than just your teammates. Like, your coaches are there to support you, and I think it's very important to have that kind of relationship with them where they can trust you as a student athlete, and you get to know them as a person. And everybody talks about like, oh, like I play volleyball because I did it as a kid, but like nobody talks about like how hard coaching is and why they do coaching. And she's told us her reasons, and she's in on it with all of her heart and passion. And I just love knowing that she loves to be our coach, no matter the outcomes of our games or the post-game stats. She's always there to push us to get better, and she's always excited to do it. And it's a very nice feeling to know that somebody cares about you and your team like that.
Definitely. And in the meantime, you do have to go to school, and you do have to study. What is it you're studying here?
I do exercise science, professional track.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. What got you into that?
I knew I wanted to be an athletic trainer since my junior year. I love sports. I love medicine. I like anatomy. And I said, I want to help athletes the way I've been helped by my athletic trainers here in the SU and back in high school. And I said, I want to be that person that's there at their practices, at their games, helping them just improve and recover from whatever happens, so they're able to get on the court again or get on the field again. And it's been going great. I love my classes and I love my major, and I don't think that's ever going to change.
Was that partly because of did you have an injury? I've heard that a lot from people who went through school, athletics, and all that, and they got involved with it because they had a major injury. Was that part of the reason, or it just something?
I've had a couple injuries, but nothing to where like all the athletic trainers had to like hold me through physical therapy. But it goes from anything from like injuries to just like soreness, or like I think I strained this muscle, or like, hey, I'm not feeling well today, like what can I do? Or like, hey, like my hamstrings are tight, like I want to perform better today, like how can you help me with this? Or I've been working out, getting 2 or 3 workouts a day, or like how can I recover so I can do it again the next day? And our athletic trainer staff in the school, they're like very supportive, and I think they're always there every step of the way to help you with whatever you need, and they love what they do, and I just want to be that person in the future as well.
Yeah, it seems to me like like this community, DSU's community, is so tight knit and so close. I saw you interacting with Carl, and you athletes seem to all be very connected to one another. Has that been your experience?
Yeah, and it's such a difference like being here, because I come from a bigger city, bigger high school, and coming here, it's like I know a lot of the people. I don't know everybody, but I feel like this community is like so tight, and even people that I don't know, I'll say hi to them, and they'll say hi back with a smile on their face, and it's such a nice feeling to know that you can go outside and be friends with anybody who you see in your path that day, and it's just a very, like, especially just the DSU community, like the DSU campus itself, like all the athletes like kind of know each other. We go to each other's games to support each other, I am a RA, so like I know my residents, and I like to be able to support my residents, whether they're athletes or just students, be able to support them through the academic journey. And I feel like everybody just is able to like be a part of that.
Yeah, and yet I'm going to ask you about your free time. Now, the fact that you play volleyball and you wrestle, and I don't imagine you have a whole lot of free time. Is there anything kind of hobbies that you do? Anything that you do with your I don't know, just downtime?
See, my downtime just kind of goes through still kind of working out. I do like to I just like to be physically active, whether that's like a walk, a hike, or going to the gym. Like I'm going home for spring break, I'm probably just going to go on a couple hikes, and I'm probably just going to rest, and I'm going to study for a test that I have coming up later on. But for me, it's more like the small activities, like hanging out with friends, or just like, watching a movie. Like I like just the little simple stuff where it's just like more accommodating for my lifestyle.
It's like decompression.
Yeah. That's a good word to put it. I would say that. Yeah,
where you just want to separate yourself from what it is you're doing, just for, albeit briefly, because you need to stay focused, and you seem like you're amazingly focused. Is there a place here in town that provides that decompression, a favorite restaurant or something like that?
On the weekends, I like going to get coffee. I just like I am a huge coffee lover.
You're in the perfect place for that. The one thing that Dickinson needs more of is coffee shops. Believe me, that we don't have nearly enough out here. Which one is your favorite?
So because I am from Utah, I do like Starbucks.
Okay.
But I also like Daily Perks. But I've tried a bunch of them, and I think they're all equally as good. But Starbucks fan, I get my stars on my app and everything like that.
It's like Seattle here. You would have to wonder whether or not we're in Seattle. The number of coffee shops here, and I've never had a bad cup of coffee from any of these joints. Right?
That is true. I think they're all good. They hope that they're good mixes. And if it's not coffee, I like going to Country Kitchen with my friends. We go there for breakfast, and we stay there for a couple hours, and we just talk, and we forget about the day, and then we get to start another week after that. But besides that, I love actually hanging out in the library. We have like quiet rooms like down in the basement of the library, and I think it's such a good time for me to just be by myself and focus on whatever I want to focus without like any like externalities affecting me. Besides that, that's about it.
Yeah, is there a favorite subject you like to be or involved with in the library? I used to be one of those people where I would read encyclopedias. I was one of the strangest people where I would just grab an encyclopedia and I would just choose a letter, just at random, W, yank it out and just start reading. What do you like to read in the library?
I love reviewing my anatomy. I do like a bunch of like flashcards for it, and we do like we have like the models and stuff like that. And I think anatomy is like extremely fascinating, like how our bodies work. And if I have some free time and I'm done with all my homework, I like to just sit there and I look at it again and again, and I'm like, wow, this is so cool. Like, this is how my muscles move, and that's why I'm also just like a huge nerd for like exercise science. Like I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, being a nerd in certain pursuits is not a bad habit. And so going back to your point about anatomy and in the encyclopedias, there used to be things in the middle of encyclopedias where they would have these glossy papers, and so there was an overlay on the skeletal construction, and then you would see the muscles, and then you would see the veins, and you could kind of peel the body apart to a certain degree. I used to find that fascinating too. I had an anatomy and physiology class when I was in high school that might have been one of my favorite classes and I didn't like school very much, incidentally, so I was a terrible student, but that one was one of my favorites. Is that kind of what drives you?
Yeah, definitely. So far with all the classes I've taken, that one's one of my favorites. And besides like care and prevention of injuries, so like first aid and CPR, especially first aid and CPR, I think everybody should be able to take that class. I think that's a very good life skill to have. But those are pretty fun.
Well, the last question I kind of have for you is, where do you find yourself in 5 years, 10 years? I like seeing athletes and seeing them charting their future. What is it you'd like to do?
The dream and the goal is to be an athletic trainer at a college. Still don't know where yet, what city, wherever the wind takes me, but I just really want to pursue that career and want to be able to help athletes and have my solid job and place to be. And you're probably going to find me playing rec volleyball with older people, because
Right.
I definitely won't be quitting that, but you might find me at the rec center doing that kind of stuff.
Well, you know, the old saying goes that if you stay close to what you love, or if you're doing what you love, then you'll never feel like you're working. And I can attest to that because my job, I love doing it. And so if you stay close to sports, you know, chances are you're going to be one happy camper.
That's the dream.
Okay, well, folks, thank you very much again for tuning into Behind the Jersey. I'm Galen Parker. I'm here with Geraldyne Fernandez, and I've had a really good time meeting you and talking to you. And I wish you the best in your pursuits. I'm looking forward to volleyball season next year in particular. Jacob did a fantastic job of covering volleyball this year for us, and you guys over at the gymnasium, Scott Gymnasium, was a hive of activity the other day for that NSAA championship and all that kind of thing.
Oh, I was there on the front row. Yes, it was. It was awesome.
Okay. Well, Geraldyne, been a pleasure meeting you.
Thank
you
you.
very much for your time.
Thank you.
Folks, I hope you keep on staying tuned to these episodes and these interactions that I have with the athletes over here at DSU. And I'm grateful to Sagan Osborne and everybody over here who's helped me to provide the athletes or give them the time to be able to speak to you. By all means, come on down here, make sure you hang out at the gym and watch these athletes play. We're looking forward to the coming seasons out on the track, over in the gymnasium. Wrestling season is kind of getting over. They're going to head over to NAIA National Championships. We're going to have a good time watching them. We're going to make sure we get those stories into the paper. So thank you very much for staying tuned to this show, and we'll see you before you know it. Thank you very much.